Alright guys, so here's an update for you. Still working on the firewall. Um, I've got, as far as the towers, still working on the one that I modified years ago. You can see I pushed that tower back to clearance upright headers back when I had a Windsor in it. So I got to smooth out all my old welds up and around. Filled in all the holes. The only holes I have left to fill are the wire harness hole right there, and then there's a small one below it. The rest are staying because there's brakes, throttle cable, and steering. And then I've got a small hole up that corner and that corner that I'm going to use for my Zeus fastener, hood rails, or whatever I end up using to hold the hood down. I'm going to leave them holes on the far end for those. Gonna leave the divots on the top end of the cowl. I'm not really worried about those, but I did get the pinch weld completely cut and smooth. Just needs a little bit more fine tuning, but it's basically as good as it's gonna get. I've got all the holes patched, welded, and then all the little dimples and whatnot across the top done. I did relocate the windshield wiper motor inside the cowl, so everything still works. I had to shorten the arm, which you can kind of see right there. I've got it kind of mocked into place right now. I've got to build a better bracket. I kind of just spot welded it into place to test it to make sure it was still going to work. But I got that done, so that'll be nice and smooth. I'm going to switch to manual brake conversion, and I'm getting rid of power steering. So we're going to get rid of the power steering lines. I'm just going to loop this one back into itself and run the power rack for now until I can pick up a manual. What else do we got? We've got... Okay, so another big decision I made was I'm getting rid of the factory style motor mounts. I'm going to cut these plates off and ditch the urethane mounts that I had bought for the car because they're still pretty heavy. Those mounts plus those I'll weigh to see what it is, but yeah, I know it's quite a bit because they're heavy. And I'm switching to a motor plate, so I'm gonna go to a motor plate on the car. Let's see if we can see which style. So factory style, they're big gummy steel, they're heavy. Race cars don't need them. That's where we're going. We're going race car with this thing. So I blocked off. I got rid of the heating lines, so I fully plugged the output for it, and then just put a regular fitting block off in the intake to get rid of that side of it. I'm still going to run a manual pump. The reason for that is I just don't want to have to spend the money on an electric pump, and when I've got this here and I know it works, it just saves me a little bit of money. And honestly, the electric pumps are heavier than the manual pump. From what I remember, I had one a long time ago, and I wasn't too happy with it. Pretty much told myself I wouldn't go that route for any real reason, no matter what. So yeah, still gonna skin these in full sheets. I'm gonna do that on both sides. I can't remember if I mentioned it or not. I am gonna push the turbo further out so it doesn't have it was kind of sticking through the plate that I made for this side. And I kind of, I got to thinking about it. I really don't like that. So we're going to fully weld up these panels. So the engine bay will be completely enclosed, minus the bottom and whatnot. But the turbo will set outside of this rail as hopefully everything works out. Because I want to run an intake set up down to that fog light hole. And then I want to run the exhaust down underneath through the cross member into the existing exhaust that I have, because I still want to run almost a full exhaust. I'm not going to have a axle back tailpipe. It's just going to probably, right now it dumps on the ground, and I'm thinking about bringing it out to the tire here, and that's probably all I'll do. I'm not going to worry about going over the back, and I got a fuel cell in the back. I can run exhaust up through it. I've done it before, but I'm not going to worry about it. Still haven't got to. I've taken so much time on this firewall just because I want it right. before I do any kind of body work to it. I want as much metal in there as possible to I don't want all kinds of friggin' Bondo or fiberglass. I'm gonna end up fiberglassing it, and then I've got a polyester filler that I'm gonna spray just to make sure it's straight. So I'm taking my time on that. I haven't got to the factory dash and strip that yet, and I haven't got to the wiring harness either. So that's another thing I gotta get to. I really want to tear into this thing and just see how it's doing. I ran it. I mean, this motor, we rebuilt this motor. It's not rebuilt, sorry. It was just, I pulled it all the way down, checked everything, and put bearings in it. I didn't bore it over. It's just an 88 Mustang motor. That's bone stock, bottom end, stock pistons, stock crank, stock rods, everything. Just did bearings in it. Didn't even change the piston rings in it. It's all original. Okay, so I've been meaning to tear into this to see how it's been holding up, because I ran it for a year naturally aspirated in my car. I ran it for a year before that in my father's car, naturally aspirated, and then this past summer I ran it turbocharged on 8 pounds of boost for the first half of the summer, and then 13 pounds of boost through it the rest of the summer. So I'm kind of curious of what kind of wear it's gotten. It's still, like I say, it still runs good. I just pulled it to do the engine bay stuff, but it's just been on my mind, how's it looking in there before I just stab it back in. I have another block with a different rotating assembly and forged pistons, aftermarket forged pistons, that I want to kind of swap all my head scam intake, everything onto, but part of me wants to see how long this will live before I swap that other motor in. So I might pull the pan on it and just take a look and see how the bottom end's doing. Maybe pull a cap or two off and just check the bearings. Check end play, all that stuff that you want to make sure is nice and tight. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know if I'm going to put that motor back in the way it is or not. I'm just, like I said, I'm still thinking about it, but the main goal is to get this smoothed out, fiberglassed, sprayable filler, and then just block it out so it's perfect, along with these towers. I am putting the fuel regulator in that corner, and then I'm going to build a cover that bolts on and off that covers it all up. Fuel line is going to be run in behind the firewall, up not inside the car, but through the cowl, because there's a separate area in there, obviously. But I'm going to run one line that comes in, across, and out. Probably use bulkhead fittings, so I don't have to mess with I'll put a hard line on the inside. So I'll just have my AN line come off the regulator into the firewall, off the firewall to the carburetor. And then that'll be, the fuel system will be done. And then as far as wiring, it'll be tucked, and it will probably run up along this way across the front of the car. Those are just kind of the plans that I've got in my head so far. It could change. I got a full-time job, so I don't have all the time in the world to get this stuff done. So it's taking me longer than I want it to, but at the same time, I'm making sure that I'm doing it right and not rushing through it. Like I normally would. So I've still got, I mean, it's still far from race season, guys. Like I said before, I live up north, so the snow is life. And actually, it's been a really good year this year. We haven't hardly had any snow. We are gonna have a storm this weekend, so I'll have another 6 to 8 inches of snow to deal with. But yeah, that's what that thing's for right there. Push it all around, keep it out of the way. But it's friggin' cold out here, guys. I haven't even touched the car this morning. It was sub-zero temperatures, and I think it got up to, I think it's 9 degrees out right now. So it took forever for the garage to heat up. I mean, it's been running for hours, and I just shut it off to make the video, but it's still only 55 in here. I've got my I got my Ford Blue fan going to keep the heat down here because I've got nothing for. I mean, I'm insulated, but not very well. Not as good as it could be for what I've got. And then the shed, the old shed that I built onto is not insulated at all either. So I got some on the walls, but that's about it. So yeah, not a race car shop by any means, but there it is, guys. That's where we're at right now. I'm hoping that within I'm hoping by another week or so goes by, this will all be fully metaled in and body worked, and then I've got to figure out what I'm gonna do for paint. I don't know. Maybe if you guys have any ideas, I thought about carrying this paint scheme into the engine bay, because I have black left over and I have white left over. I don't have the exact orange, but I do have a little bit of black and I do have the pearl white. So I kind of thought about maybe just splitting it in there, just to kind of run with the theme. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think, and we'll go from there. Maybe I'll just do it all black, so it just it's clean. I've already had it black once, and I mean, black's nice and all, but it's just a pain in the ass. I mean, I have the worst time keeping this black clean. You can't even tell if the white's dirty. This car's filthy. You can see that. Look at the roof. All the grinding dust. But the white still looks clean. It's crazy. But maybe we'll do it all white. I don't know. I think we should split it, though. That's my idea. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. And thanks for watching, guys. And I'll try to keep you up to date and try and get some more of this stuff done.